When you can do this one thing correctly, if you can design your mind doing this one thing, you will be able to control the simulation, manifest whatever you want. There'll be certain things that you may still have trouble with, but for the most part in your life, you will be financially free, you'll be successful, you will find your purpose, you will be grateful, you will have a smile on your face when you wake up in the morning because you have control of the direction of your attention. This is Chapter 6, Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Attention. We are going to develop this, okay? We're going to break down this Bible verse first, James 1:8, and then we're going to get into the exercises, okay? A double-minded person or a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. What does that mean? A person that doesn't have a developed, well-sustained attention on one thing, that's how you control your reality. And a lot of times people, if you've been hooked on vices or instant gratification, social media, pornography, alcohol, drugs, vices, these things rob you. They rob you of your ability to focus on one thing for long periods of time. And being able to focus on one thing for long periods of time is your ability to manipulate the simulation and become financially free. So you have to decide what you want. Do you want social media, or do you want pornography, or do you want the vices, or do you want to be financially free and out of debt? Your choice. But if you're choosing the latter, if you're choosing financially free, then follow me, because I'm going to take you there. Attention is forceful in proportion to the narrowness of its focus. That is, when it is obsessed with a single idea or sensation. It is steadied and powerfully focused only by such an adjustment of the mind as permits you to see one thing only. For you steady the attention and increase its power by confining it. The desire which realizes itself, always a desire upon which attention is exclusively concentrated. All right, so remember this. This is all about attention, focusing your attention on an image of yourself being the person that you want to be from the event. How long can you do that? All right. Concentrated observation is the attentive attitude directed from some specific end. The attentive attitude involves selection. For when you pay attention, it signifies that you have decided to focus your attention on one object or state rather than the other. Therefore, when you know what you want, you must deliberately focus your attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled until that feeling fills the mind and crowds all other ideas out of your consciousness. The power of attention is the measure of your inner force. Concentrated observation of one thing shuts out other things and causes them to disappear. So if you're living in your wish fulfilled, you have the control of the direction of your attention, and you figure out you see the person, the image in your mind of the person that you want to be, and then you just consume yourself with this image in your mind. It will crowd out everything else because your laser-like focus is not letting anything else in. And it also brings you up to this high frequency where you no longer see low frequency. Even if you're around low frequency, you don't see it as low frequency because you're in a high frequency. Even if there's low frequency around, you see the positive in that. You see the positive, the benefits from that. When you're in that high frequency of your wish fulfilled, you cannot see low frequency. And really that's the key. When you develop your focused attention and you go through the exercises and develop this part of your mind, that's what happens. It's not that the negativity leaves your life. It's that you don't see it the same way. It doesn't affect you the same. It doesn't cause you to fall out of your wish fulfilled because you're not reacting to it because it seems positive to you. Even low frequency stuff. By the time that low frequency comes to you from somebody that is low frequency, you're in this high frequency, so it comes to you as high frequency information because it bounces off of you. Okay? You don't collect that as low frequency. It's all high frequency to you when you're in your wish fulfilled. But it's about designing your mind properly. It's about having your mind to where it's developed and you could focus on this one thing until it crowds out everything else. Then you're in this high frequency of flow state. And then you just propel yourself to financial freedom. All right, so the power of attention is the measure of your inner force. Concentrated observation of one thing shuts out all other things and causes them to disappear. The great secret of success is to focus the attention on the feeling of the wish fulfilled without permitting any distraction. And a lot of people have struggle with this because they don't quite understand it. When you have a focused direction of your attention and you have developed this part of your mind and you have consumed yourself with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, distractions don't come to you because you're in a high frequency. Even if there's something negative that comes to you from a negative person, you don't see it as negative anymore, because if you're in a high frequency, the only way that you can see it as negative is if you jump down from that high frequency down to a low frequency. That's the only way it's going to come to you as negative. If you're in a high frequency and these low frequencies things come to you, they have to raise to your level before you can even, as you acknowledge them. And you're not going to see them as negative. They're going to be like, wait a minute. Okay, this happened to me so I can grow, or I can get better, or I can be more, more wisdom, more money's going to come to me. I just learned something I can grow from. It's not going to be a distraction to you. You're going to stay in your wish fulfilled, and then your desire is going to come to you. All right. So all progress depends upon an increase of attention. The ideas which impel you to action are those which dominate the consciousness, those which possess the attention. The idea which excludes all others from the field of attention discharges in action. This is from Philippians 3:13 and 14. This one thing I do, forgetting those things that are behind, I press towards the mark. Philippians 3:13 and 14. This means that this one thing that I do, forgetting those things which are behind, you can press towards the mark. Okay, so what this means to me is that, because when you become unconscious and you're not in the present moment, your mind is in the past. You're thinking about what's behind, okay? Forgetting those things that are behind you. Your mind is not drifting to the past. You have directed, focused attention on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Your mind's not in the things in the past anymore. You're now focused on your vision of the future, of the feeling from the end. You can press towards the mark, filling of your mind with the feeling of your wish fulfilled. So remember that. That is the secret. This is the secret to really transforming your life very, very quickly. But sometimes you have to go through the different exercises to get there. Sometimes you need like a classroom like I have on school, where I design it specifically to where you are going to develop your mind step by step, like doing the leaf exercise, the reverse course, seeing the glitches in the simulation, knowing you're living in the simulation, and going through the entire course with the live events that I do all week, where I dive into this stuff with you and answer your questions on Friday. Once you get to the point where you have cultivated this faculty of your mind with the muscles, that's when you can start applying this stuff. So if you're wondering why it's not working for you, or if it isn't working for you, or in some manner, that's the reason. You haven't developed the muscles of the mind yet. And when you can do that, you're off to the races. I mean, it's all going to happen for you. Okay, and that's what Neville Goddard's explaining here. This is what he gives an exercise here. So, but I expounded on this exercise and I created it into the classroom as a course. So to the unenlightened man, this will seem to be all fantasy, yet all progress comes from those who do not take the accepted view. So if you're thinking to yourself right now, oh yeah, whatever, that's not how this is done. You're taking the accepted view, okay? And that's the herd. Okay, that's what most people are going to do. That's why most people aren't successful. All right, so nor accept the world as it is. As was stated heretofore, if you can imagine what you please, and if the forms of your thoughts are as vivid as the forms of nature, you are, by virtue of the power of your imagination, master of your fate. So as you develop your mind, your imagination, your focus, your present moment awareness, your concentrated attention that crowds everything else out of your mind, that's when you could see you can experience these things, these very vivid forms of nature in your own imagination. And the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between your imagination feeling real and the simulation itself. So when you can get that this good, which can happen, if you develop your mind properly, you can start doing this. All right? And this is when you are master of your fate. And I want that for you. Your imagination is you yourself, and the world as your imagination sees it as the real world. When you set out to master the movements of attention, which must be done if you would successfully alter the course of observed events, it is then you realize how little control you exercise over your imagination, and how much it is dominated by sensory impressions and by a drifting of tides of idle moods. To aid in mastering the control of your attention, practice this exercise. This is the exercise I have on my school community, but I break it down better so that it gives you like a routine to follow. But this is basically just a summary of it right here. So night after night, just before drifting off to sleep, strive to hold your attention on the activities of the day in reverse order. Focus your attention on the last thing you did, that is getting into bed, and then move it backwards in time over the events until you reach the first event of the day, getting out of bed. This is no easy exercise, but just as specific exercises greatly help in developing specific muscles, this will greatly help in developing the muscle of your attention. The muscle of your attention. And like I said, right here, your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated in order to change your concept of yourself successfully and thereby change your your future, and also be able to vividly imagine. Create a mental movie in your mind. See pictures vividly clear and then manifest those pictures into your world. This is what's required. Your attention must be developed, controlled, and concentrated. And if you want the systematic approach to this, what Neville Goddard's talking about, like in course level, that way you can actually do it, that's the very first link in the description. That's my school community in the classroom. We have about 1,000 members too right now. Okay, so imagination is able to do anything, but only according to the internal direction of your attention. If you persist night after night, sooner or later you will awaken in yourself a center of power and become conscious of your greater self, the real you. Attention is developed by repeated exercises or habit. Through habit, an action becomes easier, and so, in course of time, gives rise to a facility or faculty, which can then be put to higher uses. When you attain control of the internal direction of your attention, you will no longer stand in shallow water, but will launch out into the deep of life. You will walk in the assumption of the wish fulfilled as on a foundation more solid even than earth. I love that. So this is the next chapter, attitude. But like I said, attention is very, very important as it relates to manifestation. And a lot of people overlook this. They want to do like robotic affirmations. That's just a sign to me. Doing robotic affirmations may work, if you eventually, but it just kind of demonstrates to me that you don't have control of the direction of your attention. If you have to repeat an affirmation that many times, why not just imagine and visualize it like Neville Goddard said? Why not just start developing your mind? That way, it's more sustainable that way too. You're going to be able to sustain the new version of yourself. And you don't want to just manifest a bunch of stuff into your world until you become the person that you need to be in order to have those things and sustain those things in your world. It's not about manifesting different things into your world. It's about manifesting a new version of yourself that can create that can sustain those kind of desires in their life for forever. You want to change who you are. You don't want to just manifest a bunch of stuff into your life. You want to change who you are, and that person is going to be magnetic. That person is going to be magnetic to drawing all these things into their life. I mean, that's true wealth. That's true manifestation, is changing who you are. Not about getting a bunch of things. It's about changing who you are as a person. Become wise, become loving, become financially free, become, magnetic, put yourself in this constant flow state to where you can actually appreciate the things that you manifest. Because if the version of you right now that you are, if you just manifest everything that you ever desired, because you would already have those things if you were that person, which you're not. So if you were to manifest all those things into your world right now, you would just probably destroy yourself with this stuff, or you wouldn't be able to hold on to it. Some stuff would happen to where you would just keep losing and losing and losing it. So you need to focus on this person that you need to become. That person, the person you love and admire, okay? The person that does everything they say they're going to do. The person that wakes up early, the person that does this, the person that can make, $300,000 a month or whatever your number is. 500,000, a million, 10 million. What kind of car do you want to drive? What kind of house do you want to live in? What kind of relationship do you want to have? Who is that person that has those things, that would have those things? Wake up as that person. Fall asleep as that person. Create the facility of your mind and start visualizing it. And if you can't visualize, come to my school community and start doing the work. Do the exercises in your own mind. That's how you truly make a change. That's how you redirect the muscle of your mind and start developing your visualization skills. That way you can sustain a new you. All right, guys. So we're going to get into the next chapter. But like I said, my school community is the very first link in the description if you're interested in changing your life, transforming yourself, becoming the person that you love and admire. That's how it's done, through the classroom and through my live events. We have about 1,000 members, like I said. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.